Good evening, good people. It is Duck Derby week 4, and that means that it's week 1 of the Platy Party. We got a bunch of racers in the race room tonight to show off these flags. We're going to highlight 2 of them tonight. In the booth with me, I got our restreamer Maddie, who is frantically working to get everything up and running. It's been an evening.
Hello,
Maddie,
I'm
how
not
you
on
doing?
fire yet. Uh,
Oh, apparently we've got an echo.
that was an echo because I had the Twitch page open trying to open chat.
Hooray!
So that was entirely my fault, and I at least knew what it was. All right, chat's popped out, and I don't need to worry about that anymore. All right, we can get rid of that. I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it.
So, we should go over some flags real quick before I drop the gate for these runners. They're on a 10-minute delay, so we gotta hustle through these flags, tell all the people.
We do. Give me a hot second to make that look kind of nice, because, you know, we gotta make it look kind of nice. Alright, so if I do a little bit of this, and by this I mean adding this thing I just did, because I've never shown off somebody's flags before, and then do this. That should work. That should show off some flags. Huh?
Yes! Indeedly doodly.
Alright. So let's...
Alright. So, if you want to go ahead and just start with our goal,
Yes.
we're going to be nice and easy with a short topher tonight.
Alright, this isn't working the way I hoped it would. Ah! Anyway, it's fine.
The gate has been dropped.
Alright, gate's dropped. Gate's dropped,
So-
and I can't scroll these flags for some reason. Ah!
What?
Sources.
It's a learning experience.
It's a learning experience for sure. Alright. That's it. You said short topher? Where should we hop to next while I try to figure out a better way to do things?
Onto the scale.
Onto the scale. Alright, we're gonna see some of the scale.
Notable thing here is the enemy stats are a little bit closer to the 100%. They're not going to go up to the 150 or down to the 70 like the boss stats. This is because of reasons. When you're doing entrance shuffle, which is our theme this week,
There
we're
we go.
going to we're getting the full browser experience.
Yes, that was the only way I could think to do it very quickly. There we go. Look, it looks fine. No one is seeing this horrible mess of nonsense. Anyway, though, back to the scale.
All right. So the enemy stats are a little bit closer to 100%, which is to try to balance things out. You don't want to have super high stats on early monsters, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Also, the dungeon encounter rate is a little bit lower, and the experience is ticked up to compensate. This is entrance shuffle. You could end up going into Mirage very early. Or
Hooray!
It's a very scary time.
That sounds horrible.
It's great. It's lovely. Onto our incentives, where you're going to see where I was a little bit of a meanie.
All right. Hold on. There we go.
All right.
It's fine. I only have 3 jobs.
we have 3 random location incentives, and they are all designed to be early in the dungeon. So if you find Mirage, there's an incentive item in the first 2 floors. If you find Earth Cave, you will find something by the vampire, along the way, right?
That sounds
Any
lovely.
of those chests. And Volcano Shallow is the armory floor, including all the hairpins there. We also have the Vorpal incentivized instead of the Masa. The Masa will just be randomly out there.
Oh, yay.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. Yeah, it'll be fine.
Mode and world.
All right. Here we are.
We have extended open progression on. Now, what this really means is there will be 4 more entrances available before you get the ship without requiring the canoe.
All right.
Because that means that the path from Canaria all the way to Dwarf and down to Elfland is completely open. The extended open opens up the rivers between Dwarf and Northwest Castle.
All right, I knew that one.
All right, maps.
Okay.
It's an entrance shuffle, and the towns are shuffled, but they're not mixed together.
I was gonna
So
say,
towns are towns, and entrances are entrances.
I think that's how I did it for the AP flags last month. It was horrible.
It was wonderful. Notable on here as well, we have a generated waterfall cave. So we're going to see ProcGen Waterfall in action.
I actually haven't seen any of the ProcGen stuff yet, so that's going to be interesting for me.
Special note also, include dead ends. So this is referring to the 2 Cardia islands that have absolutely nothing in them. So the location just on the same island as Bahamut, and then the little tiny island in Cardia, those are shuffled into the pool. So, those dead locations, you might actually have to go there.
But what if they weren't dead? Hear me out.
We just don't have anything in them. Treasures.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's my job.
Nothing special here.
Yeah.
Nothing special here, which is great.
I mean, I think Freebridge is special, but that's just me.
All right. Shops and magic. Again, nothing terribly special here. We have the regular shuffle stuff and the improved cure heal, etc. It's fine. It's all fine.
All right.
Enemies. Notable here. There are no spike tiles.
No, the black belts.
So if you find an overworld grind, that's great. But you will not have an enemy sitting in front of the Marsh incentive or any of the horrible places in the volcano armory floor or any of that. But yes, it does impact your grind option. That's just how it is.
Aw. Alright. Whoop, party stuff?
Nothing special here.
Classes stuff.
Classes stuff. We do not have thief lock picking.
Oh.
That's
Platypus didn't deserve it after, watching us do all of our ducky nonsense.
So the important thing here is that logic is important in entrance shuffle, and I didn't want people to just be able to skip half the world because they happened to bring a thief and the world happened to roll in there.
That's fair.
Thieves are still very good in entrance shuffle. Being able to run and getting the extra first strike chance is very strong. Equipment and items. We have a starting random AoE caster item.
Yay, I like those.
Yeah, it's really important because while Canaria will be at Canaria, if you have Gaia at Provoca and Onrak at Elfland, you don't really have a whole lot of magic.
True facts.
So we'll see how runners choose to take advantage of that. Other than that, nothing really going on here.
Alright. No
and,
adjustments.
That about covers it.
Oh, hey, we got it in record time. I get to put it as my new PP.
So this is super important because we have our Platies. They're going to be running very shortly. As the race room is moving.
Alright. Briefly go back to our title screen while I do minor adjustments so you don't all have to see more of my browser. There's nothing on there that you would ever question, trust me. I should know, it's my browser, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So, important things to keep in mind with entrance shuffle. We're all going to be confused until we're not. What I recommend when you're learning entrance shuffle is decide on a note-taking fashion that works for you. For me, that is don't. But realistically, the only things that you need to pay attention to are entrances that have things remain. And what I mean by that is if you go into Canaria Castle and it's a Cardia dead end, you just don't care about Canaria Castle anymore. If you go into Topher, or into the Toph entrance, and it's Ice Cave, and you complete Ice Cave, it's not relevant. You just cross that off your list.
Yay!
But if you find Earth and you don't have the rod, you need to know where that is.
I mean, yeah, that was about what made sense. Like I said, I've had one experience with entrance randomizer in Final Fantasy Randomizer, and it was my confused old men settings flag. I don't know why you all have let me do settings flags for AP stuff. I'm not complaining. No one's given me any notes other than saying things are horrible when I ask them nicely. But yeah,
You
my
know,
only
I think
experience with entrance randomizer was just kind of like, where was this specific thing I was looking for? Like, it's like, okay, I remember Volcano was somewhere in Cardia, and that's fine, and I can do that. And it's like, okay, Earth was roughly here, and okay, now I have Rod, I can go finish it.
yeah. What I would say is that the design of flags is something that you learn over time, and the
Uh-huh.
best way is to jump in and then get feedback from people before you release them to the wild.
But like, I've got to release them tomorrow, and I haven't asked anybody yet, so like, it'll be fine, right?
Well, and with the with the archipelago asyncs, you're able to just mess around with them. So
It's true. It's actually been a really nice experience just to go in and try different things. Like pick a theme, uh, and just go with it. That, in addition to the sort of duckling staples of doing stuff, has been just kind of a combination of really good things for helping me to learn each individual setting, what they do, and kind of how they affect things. Like I said, a lot of last time was Confused Old Men was my theme, so it's like, how many settings can I use to make runners get lost?
it's
And
a good plan.
the answer was a lot of them. Entrance shuffle, flipped floors, moved staircases, and such. And it was heck for me as a new player, but it felt good. I learned new skills.
And that's really the key. So our racers are coming up on their delay, so they'll be going probably in about 15-ish seconds on screen,
Yep.
and then we'll be able to see how this all unfolds.
So how much, what do you call it, time for talking about these teams are? The only difference I see is red mage, white mage, which tends to be very much preference.
So I think there is a stronger case for non-reds in these flags because we got a little bit of delay split here, but reds because they can be locked out of magic, especially when you see fade at level 1 white.
Hmm.
We might see a reroll right quick from Kumo, as that is the only real damage spell.
Yeah, that's been kind of my bit when it comes to like picking your white mage over red mage in terms of preferences. Like I prefer the white mage just because, especially with a lot of these settings having life in battle has carried my butt much more than it probably should. To the point of me just being like, yeah, I kind of want to guarantee I can cast life. Fade would be nice. Amongst other things, that and like having access to decent Cure 4 and Heal 3, because those have always rolled into terrible slots for me when it comes to the Red Mage.
So notable chain armor +5, practically endgame armor, and gold +5s in the armor shop here, as well as a decent selection of weapons. Darkmoon headed up and got to check out Matoya and is considering resetting,
I
or
mean,
is taking notes.
yeah.
To the question of Blursings, Fighter is +40 hit points, +10 luck.
I mean, those are
Thief,
good.
Thief is Telemagic and 15 agility, which is busted.
That is a I took the thief, no questions.
Black Belt, 10 Vit, Red Mage armor. Red Mage, exit and equip Bonks and Helms.
Well,
Kumo
there's
gets
ship.
ship out of the generated waterfall, finding it pretty quick here, and seems to be confused about the lack of spike tile. The White Mage has Heal 2 and improved Thor, and then the Black Mage has Wood Evade and improved Cat Claw.
I caught an Opal and a oh, there was another good one in there. Zeus Gauntlet. So they have 2 AoE, or should have 2 AoE caster items now, as well as an Opal Bracelet, which is also endgame armor. Sort of.
Oh, they got an additional Zeus Bonk? So the Zeus Bonk was also their starting caster item.
Double Zeus Bonk, never punished.
That's actually super good.
Like I said, they also grabbed their ship there in that waterfall, which is excellent, because that means they're getting the heck out of here.
Yes, that Opal Shield is reasonable money. I don't know why Dark Moon just put the Zeus Bonk on the White Mage when the White Mage is the only one with an actual damage spell.
Eh.
Yeah,
Choices.
yeah, it
Race
happens.
pressure. He hasn't had a Platy party in years.
I don't think Dark Moon has ever been able to participate in the Platy Party
Yeah, he's
because
normally got
he's
my
always
job.
restreaming. All right, so Kumo just found out that Matoya's cave is Bahamut.
Yeah. I mean, that's good for promotion. I like promotion.
Yeah, you know, when you get to that part.
Alright, so I'm gonna question a little bit of Black Mage stuff as sort of my duckling question of the day. So I've been very favoring uh, what do you call it? Red Mage and White Mage specifically, and that's generally because I want haste and fast for the end game generally. And yes, having a Black Mage tends to guarantee it, but I find that more often than not, they roll into low slots, and if they did roll into high slots, I don't find it worth the effort of chasing down the high-level spells. How much am I screwing myself over?
I think that in the scalings that I have been putting out for the Duck Boot Camp, that any mage composition is fine.
Okay.
And we've seen solo thief folks in the veteran side of the community and, you know, everything else. So it's not like this is overly punishing when it comes to flags. We try not to overwhelm people on that front when we're teaching them the game.
Yeah.
Difficulty can be added later, and difficulty is multi-dimension.
Yeah. Is Bahamut's Horde on?
No.
Dark Moon, why? Read the flags! Even I know that!
So, alright, I'm going to be super fair to everybody here. It is so hard for these runners to just first glance figure out these flags. And the reason that it is hard is that they have 10 minutes between when I drop the flags in the race room and when the race starts. And remembering any specific flag in that can be really tricky, especially when it's something that's a little bit like minutia in that regard. There's not even an incentive in Cardia. So the best you were hoping for there was 13 chests.
I mean, nope. I know it's late night, but we are not FF After Dark. I cannot make the lewd jokes.
Nope.
Nope. Cancelled.
Didn't your certified adult privileges get revoked recently?
I mean, they did. I don't remember what I did to have them revoked. But I mean, considering it's me.
Alright, Elfland at Elfland is super nice. Because Elfland has the double spell levels. Like, it is super important, especially if you can get, like, Provoca in here as well. That's great.
That's the other one that the red, or not the red mage, but the white mage over taking your red mage instead has been sort of the leaning on for me is Invis 2. I just feel like there's so many more spells for the white mage that that I really want to have anyway. Invis 2, Fade is nice to have, Heal 3, Cure 4, etc. That having the weird slot nonsense with the red mage just makes it like, it feels like way too much of a gamble for me. And so I end up counteracting that with the fact of I'll bring the white mage and then the red mage for the black magic because the red mage learns all of the early black magic. So again, I'm just kind of rolling the dice on that one. But
I 100% agree and understand that. All right, Kumo has found Mirage. Now, does Kumo remember? Yes, that Mirage has like 18 chests down here in the first 2 floors, and there's an incentive in one of them.
Who knows?
Now,
but he's going
the other thing to keep in mind is that Darkmoon's going to have an advantage in there for having the white mage who could learn Fade right away at level 1.
Tis true.
Darkmoon resetting out of the Mirage, going to check the marsh entrance first. Now, Darkmoon may have forgotten that it was a Mirage incentive. Ooh. That was a loose Masa right there.
Hello,
Masa
loose Masa.
-2.
A Masa -2 is still a Masa.
It's true, and especially at this stage of the run, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's going to be run defining for several of our runners. All right, Dark Moon has reset out of the literally just an XP box of the Cardia Island entrance there, and has forgotten that the early incentive is on for Mirage. Whoops. Again, you have 10 minutes to figure out your flags, and if you forget, you forget.
I mean, I tend to, and this is, personal monitor layout stuff, especially for the early duck races, because of how much I've been forgetting stuff. Ooh, that is Rod. Hello, Rod.
That's very important.
With how much, obviously I'm still new, and just not having time to catch every class, at least the beginnings of them, I have been leaving the flags open in, like, the window behind where I play, and then generally, like, popping over to the incentive page and just leaving it open to help me remember my incentives.
Absolutely a good play. Harm 3 at level 2 white is worth picking up, and heal 2. Keep in mind, Dark Moon has the accessible spell names flag on to address concerns around dyslexia. That is why the fun percent flag exists for that, is to help distinguish spells.
I agree.
It's super good. I love the accessibility features that we've been able to get in here.
Haste 1, Temper 2. Hey look, my red mage plan paid off.
Yeah, level 2 Temper, and Fast was level 1, right?
Yeah.
So, red-white would have been real strong here.
Yeah. I'm just saying I'm never punished when I make the decision.
So, one thing that I will also say is that there is a core of Magic where once I have it, I kind of stop caring about anything else. And honestly, I kind of have it already. I have Fast and Temper.
Yeah.
I have Invis 2.
Yeah.
I have Fade. Like, and having any heal spell is great. Special note, Lefane here is super nice just because of the superstore.
I was gonna say, not having access to Life 2 for Kumo here is also just coming back picking that red mage. So
Dark Moon picking up Sarda.
I haven't seen a lot of it lately, but I do remember seeing a lot of it when I was starting and just kind of like learning different things, watching. I don't remember what was going on at the time when I first joined, but like it was the Rainbow party composition. Yeah,
Thief Rainbow and Fighter Rainbow are both very strong compositions.
I think once I even saw Black Belt Rainbow at one point, but yeah.
Black Belt Rainbow has a place. What I will say is that it tends to have trouble running because the Black Mage is your running choice.
Yeah.
Alright, so Dark Moon got the herb from Sarda and then turned it in promptly to get the slab. Now, between having seen Melmond at Provoca and Lefane at Melmond, we can do that. But I think we saw a hint that says it's the crystal.
I mean, they know where Matoya is.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Matoya was Toph?
And these flags don't have the extra docks, if I recall correctly, so they're still kind of floater-locked for the endgame.
Yes, that is very intentional. I do not want to overwhelm people with too many choices. Glares Sahags. We learned something today. The sea is unfriendly. And cremate to follow.
I mean, when you look at them really mean and they don't all go down, sometimes you just gotta resort to arson.
So, the follow-on here is I don't think Dark Moon saved after getting the slap. So, ouch.
Just a little bit of ouch, it's fine.
Sometimes you get punished for not, doing the save thing.
It's
but
true.
Dark Moon has been running a little low on resources, and I think he's trying to ration tents and such.
And then it makes sense. Like, in terms of it, I know I've tended to have a little bit of resource management issues with some of the random stores. Like, I've started to try to check them more often. I tend to, like, check, is there shop item? No, leave. But I've been trying to keep my eye open for, like, where can I find tents if I absolutely need them? Where is the most accessible house? Where are decently accessible heals? I find those are the staples you tend to need. Tents for just generic saving, houses for doing proper dungeon dips, and then the third one I mentioned, heal pots, for not forgetting to have them when you go to the final dungeon, like a particular dingus that might be sitting in the booth right now.
I mean, we've all done it. Fizzle gets made fun of the most for it because, I mean, he fizzled his beefs. It's just how it is.
Oh, I was just gonna say because he's good, but but that's just me.
He ended up having a real heck of a time because of that. And yeah, sometimes that happens. Alright, Kumo picks up the slab. Dark Moon is about to turn that in once these Kaizoku get out of the way.
Yep.
Hey, look, they're getting out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
By falling over. Bored.
I was gonna say, through holy power, they have decided, nah, we should probably let him through.
Well, they are full of holes now.
Yes. Alright, what do we have here? We have that
The
crystal, as hinted. And Matoya's at Toph.
This is an annoyingly long fetch.
Just a little bit. Well, you rolled it, we get to blame you.
It's true. We do get to blame me.
Yeah.
The only thing that's playing in the favor of the runners here is that everybody's going to have to do it.
Yeah. Now, we just saw Dark Moon run into those Sahags again. He knows that they have, what was it, Glare specifically?
Glare and Cremate.
Yeah. So you ran into them, and obviously run chance with Thief is high, but I've started to find, at least for my own stuff, I have a lot of, maybe it's just me, very bad luck when I run into encounters like that. It's just like the script decides, nope, every time it's going to be that exact thing. So I've started to have sort of a back and forth semi, like, okay, if I run into the problem thing, just throw out a sweeper and hope that either they kill it or I get my run first.
Alright, so that crystal turned into the canoe. Super important.
Mm-hmm.
The canoe is just a huge piece of movement tech in Entrance Shuffle. More so than you would otherwise think. And alright, okay. The rearrangement has happened. We're getting that Zeus bonk where it belongs, which is not on the white mage.
Excellent.
Dark Moon continues to not save like a madman.
I mean, sometimes you gotta take those riskets for the biscuits. Triscuits.
Yep.
Man, now I want Triscuits. Yeah, so see, here's generally how I, like, run into these things. Like, first one run, all the rest, throw out whatever I can get to hopefully survive the day. Especially when I don't save. Because, you know, Dark Moon's one of my major teachers, so that's probably why I don't save.
Shingabi asking about what the flags are. It's Entrance Shuffle. It's fine.
It's ER, baby. That's Dolomite.
Entrance in town. So yeah.
It's fine, trademark.
Entrance and floor comes later.
I say, it is the Platy party. They get to do weird stuff, right? We get to challenge them.
Yeah, that is true. Alright, so we now know where Onrak is. We have a canoe. That gives us 3 more entrances that we didn't have access to before. That would be Ordeals, Volcano, and Ice. These Sahags, dude. Dude!
They're rude. You
All right.
gotta save often. I was gonna say, the feeling of elation when Dark Moon picks up the floater is going to be palpable. When they both pick up the floater is going to be palpable.
Yes.
It'll be like, oh, no more. Leave me alone.
So the Platy party coming in full effect here as it was time to check for a dock that wasn't there. Again, 10 minutes to review the flags. There can be a lot of holes in your memory from that.
So is that part of Platy parties in general, where you just only get the limited flag time?
Yes. In fact, in prior years, we didn't even give the themes. So, yeah.
Huh.
The being able to walk in, know, how to read the flags, how to prep that mindset is a big part of the Platy party. And I think that's what makes it a lot of fun. Both runners finding this marsh at ordeals.
Because obviously I get to deal with the AP side that little bit more. I'm guessing that this is Kumo stopping to be like, is there an incentive in Marsh? Just check the flags real quick.
I mean, that is a part of it. There is definitely a second monitor tax that happens with these. And it's all about knowing that there's, for example, finding out there's no spike tiles here.
Oh,
And there's the floater!
Oh, everything feels better.
Big.
I was gonna ask why Dark Moon is still here after that, but then I realized, okay, no, there he goes.
One more chest. That was the whole idea.
Just one more hit, it'll be fine.
Yep.
Tap those veins, it'll be fine.
Nice getting a little bit of money in here, too.
Mm-hmm.
Getting almost 8k from those 2 chests. It's funny every time that the runners will step onto a spike tile,
yeah,
and then they'll be like, wait a minute,
yeah.
Why isn't there a fight here?
I'm very much enjoying that, like, stall of, like, yep. Ooh, couple of pediatas.
These can be a nice little experience bump. I don't know. I feel like one of the things that's really nice in entrance shuffle or entrance and floor, either way, is being able to pick up levels when you have a spell like Fade, or Holy as it's on Dark Moon's side.
Yeah.
And like, ah, yeah, I found Mirage. It's time to just take a couple of packs here.
I mean, 'tis true. I know that's how... So, as a unregistered terrible duckling who needs to practice more, and she knows it, and has missed the last, like, 3 races, I find a lot of my experience route is kind of remembering the couple of, like, that's decent experience packs. So, like, the Peds, I remember that the Gray Sharks in C are okay, as well as the Big Eye in there. In Mirage, I know Medusas are good, and generally, like, a lot of the dragons are pretty fine. And it's just like, okay, that is an encounter I recognize as decent experience. I still need a few levels still. This saves me entering a different encounter later. Let's go for it.
Yeah, the Big Eye is really the star of the Gershark Big Eye encounter.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, there's understanding that there's a couple encounters that are just really nice, but especially early on, you have a good sweeper and you find Mirage, any pack will do. I am happy to take whatever will be thrown my way, as long as I can get the experience and the gold from it.
A pair of chimmies.
I will take chimichangas all day.
Oh, they are called chimichangas? I was wondering about it for a second.
No, they aren't, but we are calling them that now.
Alright. We'll go for the chimichangas.
That is C.
Does that make the other ones the Jimmy-changas?
That could be.
Alright.
Ice plus 4 armor and a Procape plus 4 on Kumo's side in the inventory. Notable finds.
Can't complain about the back shield.
Indeed. It is a very professional cape.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I figure you're using it like a dueling cape almost, so it's like you've got a hand element to it the whole time.
I mean, yeah, I can see that.
There is the crown for Kumo.
Because I don't think they've seen Astos. They also haven't found Temple of Fiends, so Garland's just waiting there like, yes, those very low-level white warriors will be here eventually. He will be very surprised when Fade and Amasa into the face, I imagine.
So, my experience, and we'll see how much of a jinx this is, but my experience is that Temple of Fiends is always at Volcano. I don't know why. It just lands there a lot.
I'm trying to remember where it was for my seed in the Async Monthly. Which, minor plug for things going on FFR. In addition to Duckling stuff, obviously, there is now a monthly massive async that we do for AP, and I'll be starting to collect the YAMLs for those tomorrow, so if that's something you're interested in, definitely come by and check it out. It's been a fun time, 2 months I've done it now so far?
Okay, Ice and Volcano were the terminal ends of Titans.
Love it. I was gonna say, I think the last seed I played with it, the only seed I played with Shovel, did have Volcanoes being the other side of Titans, because I was like, oh man, I got Ruby, and now I'm gonna teleport somewhere, it's gonna be great. And I didn't have Canoe, so I just sat in the Volcano. I'm like, well, guess I'm going home then.
Alright, Kumo has found Provoca at Gaia. Always a good idea to check the cities that you haven't seen yet when you're in here.
Well, I mean, I also think they haven't found the shop items, so checking cities is also important.
Yeah, and convenient location for the chime. It's right here. Let's just do it.
I was gonna say, they're bouncing. Are they still bouncing off of Mirage, or is it gonna bounce off of a random thing?
It's bouncing off Mirage. I didn't shuffle the chime entrance.
Aw, well now I'm just disappointed.
Sometimes I'm not mean.
But think about bouncing off of, on-rack. It's so fun.
I understand. I appreciate that. I just didn't want that. Alright. Kumo is gonna go check Lefane. And Crescent Lake is still on the table. Which is an important city since that is an incentive location.
The man just reset out of a single wyvern and went all the way back to Gaia and is just like, let's not go to Lefane, it's a silly place.
To find that the chime led to a dead end.
Love it. Mwah. Bellissimo. That's what we love to see.
Fantastic. Alright. Darkmoon has found Earth and does not have the rod because Darkmoon did not dive that Mirage Tower. Kumo is trying to check the desert for encounters. That's fine. This is a very hopeful zap.
Entrance Shuffle seems to lead to a lot of very intense route divergence, depending on what you've decided to go and read your flags for.
Yes. I would say that entrance and floor have sharp route divergence, depending on whatever floats your boat, really.
Whatever floats your airboat?
Indeed. Well, we know that's the floater, but the route divergence can happen in part due to levels of comfort with any particular any particular flag or whatever you happen to have seen so far. There is the adamant.
Well, they haven't seen dwarves yet, so that's kind of good to have, but not great in terms of immediately jumping a route change.
Ice Sword +5 is going to make up quite a bit of difference for Darkmoon, who otherwise did not have a weapon for the fighter, has not found that Masa in Mirage yet.
Yep.
And Kumo...
Ew, gross peed.
Did Kumo find the incentive on the armory floor?
I don't think so. I didn't hear the sound go off for it.
Okay. Kumo is
I don't see
checking...
one in the inventory either, so...
Yeah. Kumo's checking the Agama floor, which is not where the incentive is this week. We are Volcano Shallow, Earth Pre-Rod, and Sky Palace Random Mirage for our random locations this week. The idea was, if you find a location that has an incentive, you can get that incentive.
You can get the incentive, but not necessarily the orb. Because a
Right.
Dark Moon probably sitting there a little confused for what he should be doing right now, considering he skipped out on some kind of important stuff. Could have picked up
Dark
whatever
Moon has
incentive
plenty
from...
of entrances.
This is also true. Oh, hello, Toph. Hello, Garland.
Alright, so Shimbabi wins for saying that it's always Cardia. Bye, Garland.
What do you mean monsters
not knock
plural?
us
There was
down.
only one monster there. Oh yeah, that was also another thing that like weirded me out, was not teleporting back to Corneria after picking up the princess. But I guess in entrance randomizer, technically Corneria could be, or Corneria Castle doesn't necessarily have to be found, so it could result into like a major soft lock, pulling you away from like your airship or something.
We have found dwarves, which is very convenient for Darkmoon, who has the adamant.
It's very true.
And gets a Vorpal -2 for his troubles.
So we have a -2 Vorpal, a -2 Massa. I'm hearing that the Thief Seed with a Katana. Or High Rolling Excal.
Or we just deal with the Massa -2 and call it a day. Alright, Kumo lit the orb, I think?
I think so.
I can't imagine that Kumo bounced. Alright, Kumo checked one chest at least before diving down, and is going to the armory.
Yeah.
Gargoyles, famously known as nobody's favorite enemy when the favorite enemy was asked in the Spring Tournament 2021 poll. To enter the Spring Tournament in 2021, you had to answer some questions. One of them is, what is your favorite enemy? The Gargoyles got 0 votes.
I'm gonna say, why were they on the list?
Well, I mean, it was any enemy of your choosing. I voted for the Chimera.
Well,
Alright, it is looking like a hairpin incentive. That's a ribbon. That's probably the incentive ribbon.
Oh. That's the sound of an incentive ribbon. Hooray, mediocre. Actually, ribbon +3, not terrible. And ribbon period, not terrible. Could roll -10 and just be like, yep, put it on.
I honestly don't know the total results. I just know that nobody voted for the Gargoyle.
Did anyone vote for the regular gargoyle?
Probably not, but I don't know. Maybe because they show up so frequently, somebody did. Maybe it gives them fond memories of that particular cartoon series from the 90s.
It is a great cartoon series from the 90s.
If you ever wanted to hear the lovely voice of evil Will Riker as your villain, there you go.
I was actually, fun fact about the Gargoyles TV series from the 90s, I've actually met one of the artists from the show.
Neat.
And I actually have art from her as well. It was one of my very early convention visits, and she was doing, or she had a commission booth open, so I actually have art from one of her works. She also worked on some other things throughout the time. I've actually seen her portfolio, and there's some things I'm like, ugh, but, you know, you obviously don't get to pick your work a lot as a freelance artist.
This is true. Well, hello Raiders from SVJ. Welcome to the Platy Party Week 1 / Duckling Boot Camp Week 4.
Bienvenue.
We've got an entrance shuffle.
I was gonna say, I wonder if they haven't noticed that Cardi is not incentivized, because I keep seeing them popping in for those, like, 1-2 chests.
Who can know?
I mean, who
What I
could?
do know is Kumo is accurately looking for the pre-rod random incentive.
As you do. He gets a reward cookie. Oh man, I'm gonna have to make soup when this is over. Some nice spicy soup.
It was very warm here this weekend, so I settled with a grocery store pasta salad and a quesadilla for dinner. Alright, that's a fire orb for Dark Moon.
As you do.
Dark Moon now going to check the hairpins, and based on the way that he's routing this, I feel like he's gonna... Yep, it's gonna last location.
Ah. I was gonna say, so I tend to just go from here to the hairpins, but that's just kind of like default brain routing from when I was doing Winter Tournament with the all loose shards. Yeah, like what Dark Moon's doing right here.
So Dark Moon looks like he's going to check right, then check bad hairpin. Oh, Katana +5.
Hey,
That's actually
we take
huge
those.
find. Now, we still need to find the tail.
What did I say about Katana, though?
Alright, and then utilize the warp that is on the thief? Yes. So Kumo did not find that Katana +5.
And he never will. My boy Dark Moon.
That was a white shirt -3, I think? That was in the chest for Kumo there.
-3 doesn't matter. What matters is casting Invis. Especially considering I think he's got the red mage that wasn't able to learn it otherwise, so that is access to that spell.
That's true. That's true.
You know, every time you tell me that I got something right and it's true, I feel a little bit of pride in myself that I'm learning.
Alright. Kumo has narrowed it down that Earth is not holding the incentive on floors 1 or 2. Dark Moon trying to figure out where to go next.
He'll search early sky eventually. Someday. Actually, ironically, he just passed sky, so...
Now he's going to check Sarah because he turned in, or he got Sarah from the...
Bottle's not a good time, because I don't think they've seen... Gaia yet. Gaia. Which means I think it's at Onrak, because I think that's the only city they haven't gone to. Except for maybe Lefane.
We haven't seen Lefane location, because Kumo skipped out.
He was hoping for the lockpicks. Oh dear, that's a lot of poison.
Yes, it sure is. That fighter appears to have a ribbon on, which is a good time.
Yeah.
We have seen Waterfall. The Waterfall was lucrative.
Dark Moon, what are you doing? Because I'm pretty sure it was on the second floor anyway, but like, he walked into the treasure room and then just left.
Well, I think the idea is he has exit on multiple characters. Or no, at least one character.
True.
The Waterfall location had the ship.
Ooh, Tail is an Earth.
Tail at the vanilla incentive box. What a jerk am I?
It's fine. It's not like you knew. Or did you?
It's true, I didn't. But, you know.
Turns out Sarazen's been hacking into our generation system to specifically put one bad thing in every seed. It's always his fault.
It's way harder for me to claim that I knew something was going to be the case when I, you know, am rolling a race room. And, you know, the flip side of it is when I do actually, like, get a seed for the weekly, if I'm doing something particularly silly, I have been known to roll seeds until it works out in my favor. I kind of, I take after Falconic in that regard, but a little less scientific than he does. But the notable on that is there was a week where I turned off early open progression, and it was to force people to learn the other stuff. And it was hilarious. It was honestly just a great time. Logical access to everything was behind going to ordeals first off of an early canoe. And, just don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the fact that you can't go to Elfland.
Yeah,
it's fine.
You don't need Elfland. What do the elves
Yeah,
do to you?
I rolled probably 15 seeds until that worked.
Okay, so again, I'm just gonna assume, it's Sasrabot, it's Saracen, you both start with S. I've never seen you both in the same room.
Yeah, you have. The race room.
I don't know. He only
getting
messages
lobstered
you
over
the moment you do, like.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Alright, now, the unfortunate... Oh, that was a ruse stick. That's very good.
Mm-hmm.
The unfortunate thing that we're seeing here is Darkmoon is checking, like, this is a random incentive, and this is the only vanilla dungeon for incentive items. So, that's a little rough. But we're gonna do this. We're gonna get there.
I'm not sure if Kumo's out of warp charges, but didn't do... Oh.
Nah,
They're dead.
We've only got a night, fam.
I guess. We have a night and a dream, it's fine. You could say
Kumo
they have
up
nights into dreams.
That was such an interestingly stylistic game.
I know, right?
I don't have anything bad to say about it other than I was really bad at it.
The only thing I have to say about it is that I'm very sad that its spiritual successor of Balan Wonderworld was horrible.
That I heard.
Yeah, as someone who appreciates foxy characters, the fox costume of Box Fox, which randomly turns you into an uncontrollable box at random intervals, I felt personally slighted. This was an affront to me and my sensibilities.
Alright, Kumo remembering that the shop item has not been found. It's the Oxy Ale.
Oh, hello.
Now, notable, the entrance to Sea Shrine and Onrak that you normally find, that's actually a shuffled entrance here.
I know.
Which is why Darkmoon is in Sea Shrine without the Oxy Ale. So there's no guarantee that the entrance actually matters.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just thinking about it, they've already seen Earth, they've already seen Sky, they've already seen Sea, and they've already seen Volcano, because they finished 3 or 4 of them, and there is the incentive in the other. So unless Cube, or Loot, or Key is locked behind that Oxy Ale, it's really not worth anything.
We won't know until we know, which is kind of the fun part, right? That's the Ruby. That's super worthless.
Sour grapes.
Kumo not checking the Hint Giver while standing next to the Hint Giver. That's a very strange choice. And also forgetting to house.
Or in right there.
Yep. Hey, second ribbon for Darkmoon. That's cool. There's no guarantee that any other runner is going to see that particular ribbon, because by the time that you're clearing C, a lot of the time, you've already gotten to the point where you're just hunting incentives, and you're no longer vacuuming up loot.
I mean, I like sucking up loot, but I'm also a loot goblin, so...
Hey, there's a time and a place for loot goblining, and sometimes it's just not the Platy party.
I was gonna say it's called All Loose.
There's the TNT.
That's not a good find.
It's an adequate find. We have exit. We know where dwarves are. We've seen them.
I was gonna say, so what haven't they found yet? Other than, the basics.
The key and the loot.
Yeah. And the cube.
And the cube. The cube also very important.
I was more referring to locations.
Oh, locations? Oh, that's a real good question.
Because I think it's just, like...
They may have actually hit every possible location so far.
They haven't been to Lefane, and they haven't seen
Right.
Gaia
They haven't been
yet.
to Lefane to see Gaia.
Yeah.
And they haven't seen what's past the the lock at Onrak.
Yeah. Granted, at this point, the lock at Onrak it is a cave. They've seen dwarves, they've seen Matoya, they've seen Sarda. So there's not a lot that I think it could be. I think it might be just one of the Cardia dead ends.
No, they've seen both Cardia dead.
Okay, sorry. An Cardia third that actually has checks in it, but isn't Tia itself or just once.
And you can see now that Kumo is on that mental hunt of, what have I missed?
He's gonna try it. Well, taking that promo.
Makes sense. Promo's good.
Promo is good. We honor you.
Promo is going to be a lot more useful for Dark Moon for having the katana already.
Yeah.
But
like the Vorpal's nice, but it's when you've got it rolled low.
The dragon armor could be helpful, you know. There's a couple of things. All right.
Ooh,
there is
hello.
Our loot from the bottle.
A bottle that we have Kumo
from
only
Princess
just
Sarah.
picking up.
Yeah.
And that's down at Lefane, which means that Kumo didn't get punished for that Lefane walk.
It's true.
Or the reset out of Lefane. It was all entirely planned.
I guess whatever is in that Oxyale lock, which I think is what Kumo's checking right now, that has to lead to the key or the cube.
Or... I think it has to lead to key, and then cube has to be in a locked. Because they're out of other incentives.
They have Crown, and they haven't found Astos. That's actually one that's missing.
So this is likely Astos into key into cube and locked, probably Corneria?
No, there is no incentive in Canaria lock.
Oh. Elf locked?
Nope. We're basically just down to NPCs at this point, I think. The TNT. The TNT is the other one.
Ah, so that means TNT is key, as this Crown cashes in for cube.
That's huge.
Huge with a Y and 2 O's.
Huge.
Huge. Dark Moon, why are we in the river? Oh, it's for waterfall. Yeah, no, that checks out. Here's a hero. What if we gave them 15 minutes instead of...
So I commented in the run-up to this, you know, behind the mute block.
Yeah.
Man, it's really funny that they're not talking in the race room.
It's all about you find what you find and hope that the others don't find it.
Right, but the Platy Party is kind of an interesting time in that a lot of the time, the runners are... I think there's a little bit more camaraderie, though it does seem like this year is a little bit sweatier than normal.
I mean, yeah, they all want to win.
Right. You know, there is a prize on the line in that the top 3, I believe.
Ooh, there's that X-Cal.
And a power bonk.
Oh,
That's
is.
that's big. But there's you get the special Platy avatar if you get top 3, so like that's huge.
Oh, that's how you get those. Wait,
Yeah.
don't you get the duck ones just for finishing, though?
The duck ones are for finalists, I think. It's on the wiki.
Eh. I'll learn someday. I got fans that want me to earn my duck.
So I would also point out that the Platy side is the way more exclusive club because we've had fewer Platy parties than boot camps.
I mean, true.
And that is just a function of there was a period of time where we weren't doing that.
I'm not saying I don't want to be a platypus eventually. I'm just saying I gotta set my goals at a reasonable level.
That's fair. Darkmoon has found Northwest, which is going to be a relief. Getting the cube. And that could push him to go check out Mirage and get the incentive there, and maybe... Please don't full clear, Scott. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Just... This is where that 10 minutes to review the flags is really painful, and the second monitor tax is real.
Yep. Second monitor tax, or just having to play the game really small. Those are your choices.
I mean, I do that on the laptop when I'm actually competing. So, I've mentioned this a few times. I have a desktop setup, but it's got 3 monitors, and one of them is a TV, and it causes everything to flip out. And the emulator on my desktop lags.
Darkmoon, check the room. Do it, you fool.
Alright, Kumo has lit the air orb.
Yes.
And is down the 2 critical pieces plus needs to clear Kraken. Darkmoon needs to find the rod. And... yeah. Once finds Rod, which is here, on this floor. This very floor that he's not looting.
No! Darkmoon, you fool!
No, these things happen, alright? Again, 10 minutes to review. And he absolutely thinks it's random Scott. This happens. And it's going to be sadness. But it's okay, Darkmoon will get through this.
He will,
sure.
but he's my lovable fool, but
Random Mirage is a rare flag. But the notable thing is if you looked at all the incentives, the idea was if you found an entrance and it had an incentive, you could get the incentive. There was a theme.
It was all planned.
So, Darkmoon found Mirage and just bailed.
Yep.
And never came back. And, yeah. Alright, Kumo in C getting the C incentive. The only vanilla incentive in the Fiend dungeons. Which is the TNT, which is the key that will lead to a great many things. Alright, so Darkmoon checks vanilla and is sad.
Yep.
And we're thinking about our life choices.
Yep. I was gonna say, I'd be thinking about opening the flags.
You know, again, the race nerves.
Yeah.
And this is all part and parcel, right? This is why we have the Platy Party, is to show off. These are things that happen in races and you have to adapt to them.
Yep.
What's novel here is that these flags are blind, right? Yep. So there is an analysis part and it's rough. It just is what it is.
Yeah. And again, this could just be me and how I tend to do things, but like the moment I start hitting that brick wall of like, where is thing? That's the point where it's like, okay, I might need to have that bit of a holding hand, whether that's like, you know, if it's casual, I'm just messaging a friend, or in this case, again, like I said, I've started to get into the habit of just like open the settings, take the moment, because if you're not finding things, you're either hoping that you're right in that, you know, it's random mirage, or the time you'd spend doing that check versus, you know, you should have the race chat open to be paying attention to when, like, when people are finishing anyway. You should have access to that link. Just click it and go for
Third
it.
ribbon. Third ribbon.
3
Hooray.
whole ribbons. No rods.
I mean, we do what we can.
It's true.
Kumo on the way down to Kraken.
We're also sitting on a massive katana and a massa, but don't have tail from the Earth visit. And by the time he gets to that Earth visit, unless he... Oh, it's gonna be so bad if he finishes Sky, goes to Earth anticipating that it will be an Earth incentive, and maybe Rod is in Earth, to not find it there, and then proceed to get tail, which would be great. Unfortunately, it's gonna mean...
I anticipate words from Dark Moon at the end of this.
Probably.
That's what I'm gonna say.
We have to remind him that we have to be PG.
Oh, he's very good about that in the broadcast.
Because I'm a solid, like, 7 out of 10 so far on that. I know I make mistakes. I'm only human. Most days. Gotta get mad. Ooh, Sleepy Touch.
Yeah, the sleep touch is pretty rude.
I'm gonna say Crack Tyson continues his knockout punches. Granted, with 3 ribbons, you're generally fine.
Good old Mr. Sandman from the original release of Punch-Out.
Oh, yeah. Alright, so that's all of the orbs lit. Which means it's just a matter of grabbing the key and loot. Which were somewhere, TM.
The key
was behind
at
TNT. Yeah.
And the bottle turns into the loot.
Yeah.
And that's at Lefane. So this is where that entrance tracking really comes in, where you have to say, all right, what is outstanding for me? And so Kumo immediately hitting Cardia Small, knowing that it's the dwarves, gets the key, is warping right out of there, saving, and getting back on an airship after an unfortunate Catman sighting.
He's the Catman, skibby-wop.
And Kumo knows exactly where to go now, is going to run and turn in that bottle.
Must be taking good notes. I loved the move over to run, only to notice, oh, hey, steak.
Sometimes it be like that.
It do be like that.
That knight is rapidly approaching, actually has just reached the 5th hit on that Masa -2.
Nice.
So that knight has real swing power now.
Oh! No!
He's just saving, don't worry.
Oh! Yeah!
Alright, there's the loot for Kumo. And it's time to restock and get out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, finally. And finally, I get to track less. Like I say, so the 4 giant pack. I know basically most things on the road to Lefane are good, but I see the 4 giant pack and I always just be like, no, those aren't good enemies.
They're not good enough.
I say, I know they get a lot of money.
They're fine if you're doing the Peninsula of Power Grind,
Hmm.
which is a relatively rare thing in especially duck flags. We don't really have a reason to do that,
Hmm.
but it's more common in crazier scaling or weird resource situations. All right, Kumo is now entering Topher.
Just
At
do
the
it.
58 even, and it is short Topher, so we don't have a whole lot to do here.
Free defense sword, though.
That's really big.
I sense something evil.
All right, we are taking Lich seriously. There's a fast.
As you
That's
should.
enough. So this should be the best news to Darkmoon.
Yeah.
Finding that rod, knowing that that's actually Goma.
Yes.
Now he just needs to remember where Earth is. It was in Cardia.
I mean, see, imagine doing this, but with like a whole day between play sessions because, you know, it's async.
Now, Darkmoon is thinking like a Go mode veteran here and is checking nothing.
Yes.
Which means, unfortunately, that Katana +5 is just sitting in the... Oh, no, we're checking the 3-pack.
I mean, I imagine... Okay. I just imagine if you're Darkmoon, you probably grab the behind vampire chest because it's fairly quick. You're on the way anyway. You're in the room. Might as well.
Okay, so
he wants that tail.
Leaving the first floor makes sense.
Yeah.
And the reason that leaving the first floor makes sense is that
none of the items that are there are things he needs. It's just a matter of wanting that tail. So it's like, this is stuff he's going to be exploring these floors. Skip floor 1 because it's too massively out of the way. It also, you know, would eat his warp to try to do it quickly, so do the later ones. If you find something decent, grab it. If not, just keep going.
Yeah, so this is good play. You know, maybe he is leaning towards wanting the tail specifically for the katana. That just means we're going through all of it. The whole shebang.
As you do.
Getting the terrible news of just experience in the Earth TFC. Kumo, meanwhile, on Chaos with just a fighter, or just a knight, rather.
Oh dear.
And
that sounds like it's going to be a bad time. Especially without that power bonk that we know Darkmoon found.
Which was just right behind the key, but, you know...
Ooh, slow as well. Oh, jeez. Yep, that's a try again.
Yep. We go again. So the good news for Darkmoon here is having skipped first floor, he's going to just see the tail here.
Yeah.
And he's going to continue to have words for me about incentive locations, but this one wasn't my fault. Does he turn it in? Who knows? I think probably.
Ooh, nuclear carry. She is that team's carry. Alright, that was my bad joke for the day. I'll be off. Tell the chat I love them.
Alright. It's Lich o'clock once the turtle faces the correct way.
It's fine. He's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. It's hard to get teenagers to do anything. That said, another rough bit through that quick toph.
Yeah. This is again pointing to the strength of the white mage in this particular seed.
Yeah.
Alright, Dark Moon is going to promote.
Yeah.
That's what we're seeing.
Well, I mean, with a katana +5, I don't think you don't. The only other weapon he has is now he picked up that masa. So it's one of those bits of like, okay, I can go in with a masa -2, and the levels that I have, not having the early spell slots as nice as, you know, they are, or we end up with take that little bit of extra time to promote, go in with a katana 5, and just literally clean house with the power bonk and everything else.
That's true. I did like there was just a moment of, hey, did I have exit charges left? And so Dark Moon walked out to use a house before coming down.
So yeah, so moving out, Thief's now going to become the main. Wow, Rune 3 to Katana 5, that's quite the upgrade.
Sure is.
It's like Super Saiyan, just like, yep, I'm gonna Kaioken a little bit. No. We Super Saiyan 2 in this house.
Alright, Dark Moon has done all the equipment jiggling and is now headed in a Topher-esque direction. As is common and typical, finding these islands is half the fun. I get the feeling that Dark Moon is just going to kind of waltz through this.
Just a little bit.
That Katana +5 is going to do work. There's a little bit of extra levels across the board. I think Kumo has a slightly higher level Knight.
Yeah.
But it's just not being made up for elsewhere.
Yeah. With all of the others in, like, bad, or in, like, the range of a good nuke roll and a little bit of hitting, it results in so much extra time you need to be taken to make sure that they're up, considering how much they contribute to the strategy. Again, the power bonk makes a difference. Obviously, Kumo did get that defense sword, so he's not missing out on the ruse or the white shirt and everything like that. But the difference of power between the two of them and what they can accomplish with one character versus the whole team, I think is a very big difference right now. We might see Dark Moon pull ahead. The other thing is access to that Life 2 cast because of taking the White Mage over the Red Mage. Which, again, White Mage stretch paying off. I'm
White
just saying.
White Mage is real good.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Dark Moon typically does not like taking White Mages. And he said as much when he did the reveal stream for Class 202, so Week 2 Wednesday, where, you know, it was one of those, I'm re-rolling into the White Mage because, unfortunately, the White Mage just has the tools. But we're seeing 3 ribbons and the katana and all the other tools just paying off.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Another wipe for Kumo. This is super unfortunate. So at which point after you've had, you know, as many wipes as Kumo's had now, I think like 2 or 3, at which point do you like be like, okay, I need to go get a couple of more levels?
It's really hard to say because there's a degree to which, you know, Kumo can say, hey, I got to Chaos on the first dive, even if it was not great.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, here I am. I've actually done it once. It doesn't seem like it should be that far off. And then, you know, the reality of that is sometimes you just bash your face into the wall. And, I mean, I've been there. Dark Moon's been there. Everybody's been there at some point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the main reason I ask is because while I was in the winter tournament, and obviously significantly less experienced than I am now, while I was on one of the restreams, the commentators made the note of me taking a walking grind in Topher. I was actually just getting lost. I wasn't actually taking the grind. But them saying that I needed more levels than I knew it. Obviously, I didn't know it because, you know, I didn't. But it was just one of those things that struck me later as like, was I not high enough level? I was around like 25-ish. That seems fine. But, you know, those little bits of things that I guess you learn over time.
There's a feeling that you get as you develop as a player, the longer you've been going. And this came up for me in SGL, where I was taking a grind on a ninja as my melee carry in a race against Fizzle. And everybody's asking, is he going to stop at 31 where there was a hit point or a hit break, or you know what's going on? And no, I was just like, I'm going to do this until I feel that the numbers are right. But I don't know what that looks like because I play by sense of smell. And sometimes that's just how it is you get the feeling that you have the resources or you don't. And the more you play, the more that you develop that sense. And I mean, some people are much more analytical about it than me. But, you know, that's just how it is.
I mean, my bit is no think, only smack. Until I hit a brick wall, then I'm like, maybe little think. And that's terminated.
GG Dark Moon.
I was gonna say, only 2 seconds off the race time. I'm good at this.
So that is a 109.21.
Dude.
All right. Kumo continues.
As you should. I say,
So,
I need a late dinner and a shower.
we'll see if Darkmoon wants to join in here. So, as noted on here, 11th overall. So we had 13 entrants in this seed, and first place was Budgemano with a 48-31.
That is insane to me.
So sometimes you just you do everything that the seed wants you to do in the order it wants you to do it, and you get rewarded. And sometimes, you know, you do the opposite of it. And so yeah.
Hey.
Well, that looked like a Darkmoon has joined us. Hello,
Hey,
Darkmoon.
Did my stream finish?
Your stream did finish.
Okay, good. Because for a second there, I'm like, I accidentally discarded delay, and I'm like, oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
No, you're good.
we saw the terminated. We just didn't see any credits.
Okay, that's fine. Whatever. That was awful.
Yeah, I was having one of those my sweet summer child because I got to read the flags for more than 10 minutes.
Yeah, you got me with the randomized incentive locations. So
Yeah.
especially when I go into Marsh, and Marsh was vanilla located. I don't know if that was intended or not, but then I'm like, okay, everything's fine then. And I start looking around like, everything's not fine.
So the theme was, if you looked at it, the Fiend dungeons except C were random locations, but they were all random locations that you could get to without a key item.
Ah.
Yeah, that was the whole idea.
Yes. So all of the incentives were early in dungeons. So when you kept skipping early Mirage, I'm like, no!
Well, I didn't want to go to Mirage with the levels I was at that point.
Which is
so
completely
I probably
fair.
would have skipped it anyway. That was so bad. Blind flags are not my speed, apparently.
Well, I mean,
They're rough.
you haven't been able to play them in a long while. I mean, now I'm here. I can help out on this end. You get to actually enjoy yourself.
Yeah. And, yes, enjoyment. That's what that was.
Yes.
So. No, it was fine. I mean, once I figured out what the heck was going on, it was fine. it wasn't like bad. It just took me forever to find everything, and I was just like, this is going on way too long.
Yeah.
So, on good news, you at least got to just plow through Topher on your first attempt.
Yes.
On the back of that Katana +5 and the 3 ribbons and all the other tools.
And the power bonk. It was all so lovely. I enjoyed every moment of it.
Yeah, it was great. I didn't mind any of that. The gear was fantastic. Did other people not have that gear?
Kumo's got the Massa 2. That's it.
Kumo is on dive many, and
I've lost track. He's died many times.
It's been 15 minutes of Topher for Kumo, so it's been a rough time.
Yeah, no joke. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. For whatever reason, you had it as short Topher, and my brain read it as mid Topher, so I prepared a little more than I needed to.
As you do.
Sometimes that happens.
Yeah, so.
Any lessons to the ducks that you want to throw out there?
Read the flags? I will admit I'm bad about reading the random location thing. I started before that was a thing, so my brain is like, oh, I see what the locations are, I'm good, and I just forget to look at the drop down to where things are, and I'm not sure I'm ever going to correct that. That's going to always catch me for a loop. I don't feel like it hurt me that bad in Volcano. I lucked out to where the item was, and honestly, the way I did Volcano, I might have done that way even if I'd known it was random incentive item, because that was just fast and greedy, and it got me through, you know? So, but I think in general, I needed practice with these flags to really get down what was going, and obviously for this thing, it wasn't going to happen. Read the flags, be better at it than I am. That's my suggestion.
I just say embrace the second monitor tax and leave the flags open so you can check, because I'm very bad at remembering.
I would have if I'd realized there was going to be little things like that in there, and also, like, I got used to Bahamut's Horde being on through the early weeks, so I was like, oh, okay, I'll just go check Bahamut just to make sure it's, because it's on, and it wasn't, and, like, lockpicking wasn't on, but I couldn't remember, so I had to go check and see if it was, and so that was 2 or 3 minutes wasted that I didn't need to waste.
Kumo just blowing off some steam there, killing the Hooray Dwarf 3 times.
Yeah, you do what you gotta do.
You do what you gotta do.
Well, and the thing is, like, that katana was nice, but it didn't do anything to carry. It didn't do much of anything to Kraken. That Mazza -2 alongside and the Holy that I was getting from the White Mage, those were doing most of the work right there.
Oh yeah, he also doesn't have a White Mage.
Oh, no. When I saw that Telemagic was on the Thief, and the Red Mage had nothing remarkable, I was sitting there going, you know what? It was Life 2 in battle that did it for me. Life 2 being available in battle, I'm like, well, I'm going to find a life at some point, and I want to be able to use it in battle. So when that was on, I'm like, I'm definitely getting it for the White Mage no matter what.
Exactly. See, look, I knew I learned from somebody.
That's one of the few times that I would actually do that, because, like, seeing Life 2 on in battle, I'm like, the White Mage is now a little more utility than they would be otherwise. I might have risked it with the Red Mage otherwise, and then, re-rolled when I saw that Holy was the only good damage spell there. That White Mage was happening no matter what, because Ice alone was not going to cut it for the seed.
Yeah.
So lots of call-outs in chat here about the strength of the White Mage, this specific seed, and the relative weakness of the Red Mage, this seed. I think ultimately this could have been a white-red situation, but white-black was the safe choice. And I think that white-black is just generally safer in the shuffle. So
I always like to take a black. Black is usually my play. So it really does come down to malices and specific flags that are, well, blurses, I guess, in this point. They're wording malices, but bonuses and specific flags. And, I mean, that telemagic on that thief did work. So
absolutely.
I'd still be in here another 10 minutes otherwise.
So we're getting the spell slots on the ninja and knight in order to go in here, so that means access to that life finally, I believe.
That'll be good.
I think it was level 4
Oh,
for the life 2.
well,
So maybe the red wizard could learn it if it was slot 4? Question mark? I don't know red mage slots that well.
I can't remember.
Red
I
I
mage
rely
slots.
very strongly on shop info.
Yes. I kept, did they put their little arms up? I can buy it. I kept thinking I had heal 3 because I tried to buy it and it was blocked at my level at shop 6. But my brain said, well, you tried to buy it, so clearly you have it.
Yeah, my brain has done that.
Yep. So,
And there.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'm almost out of healing by the time I got to Tiamat. Well, we're just gonna try it anyway. Whatever.
Just do it. It'll work. It'll be fine.
80% of the time, it works every time, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just never punished. It'll be fine.
Never punish.
Never punished.
Never punish.
Never once.
So comments also in chat about the particularly evil overworld encounters.
Oh my god, those Agama.
Sahags.
Those Sahags, thank you. That was brain, yeah. The Sahags, the third time I died to them, I'm just sitting there going, save everywhere. It was wretched. There was every time. Okay, well, I'm saving here. I'm saving again. I'm saving again. There's nothing you can do about it. There, half the fights on sea are these Sahags. Just save over and over again.
Yeah, I think you were the first of the two on the stream to find the floater, and I'm like, I'm betting there is a massive sigh of relief right here.
Yes. Oh, there absolutely was. I was so happy to see that. So, and I was sitting there going, I heard Luffy's voice in my head too. Always bet on ordeals. So, because there was probably like,
apparently.
Huh?
Nuke Mux, apparently.
Oh my! I didn't see that, and I'm so glad I didn't. There was
we didn't see it in the booth.
Did you call them mooks?
Yeah, there. If I had seen that while I was trying to do a dive, I might have been going, "What is this game? Does this game just hate me? Is that what this is?" Ugh. This was a prime example of Final Fantasy Randomizer isn't always like this, but it's always like this.
I say, don't worry, Oslado. Odron saw them too.
I don't mean to laugh so evilly, but well, that was funny.
We're allowed to have our in-jokes.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's it. We're on Kraken again. We got belief. We can do it.
So I didn't run through the full leaderboard here. I only called out Budge Mono with that 48-31 in first place, followed by Woobear, Chanigan, Caleb, Oslodo, and Guardian Marcus, all with sub-hour times.
Yeah, I wasn't doing that. Not with not reading the flags properly. That wasn't happening.
We had Phoenix, Clementitas, Jay Scheidel, Ragnarok, and then you, all coming in between an hour and an hour 10.
Yeah.
This, the game sometimes is not. That's just how it is.
That is true.
So what we've learned today is the power of reading. Life's not hard when you get a library card.
I will say, I had this thought in my head as I was playing this time. I'm sitting there going, it's a good thing I enjoy all the other stuff I do for this community, because this is the kind of seed that makes me not enjoy the game.
Yeah.
Sometimes that how it be. That's how it was for me with Warhammer, so I very much know that feeling. Oh, 4 health, come on, you can do it, Knight.
That was a one hit from death Tiamat. So, yes. But, oh man, 4 hit points out of 640. Ah.
Yeah.
It's just a little rough. It's fine.
This was an especially, you don't expect a short Topher on this kind of scaling to be this bad, but this was an especially rough short Topher for, this scaling. I got in there with my guys, level 25, 27, and when I saw short Topher, I'm sitting there going, I could have come in here at a much lower level. And then, I'm sure other people did, and that's how they finished so fast, but seeing what the fiends were doing, I'm sitting there going, I'm glad I had the levels I did.
Yeah, the levels definitely played to your favor. The having all 3 of the ribbons played to your favor.
The upside of spending way too long digging chests I didn't need to dig.
Truth facts.
Yeah. Like, if I'm gonna be here, I may as well get this. And then just rely on the thief to try and carry me through the game. One ribbon was in... The incentive ribbon was in Volcano, the third ribbon was in Sky 3, because Sky provides, and I don't remember where the second one was.
I think it was C.
Might have been. C.
Yeah, it was in Mermaids. That's right. It was in the first room of Mermaids.
Yay, I have
Well,
the
I was
kind of
gonna
memory
check
that
that
makes me okay at this.
Yeah, I was gonna check that no matter what, because when you're on Mermaids, you do the greeds.
Alright, we're holding A and we're praying.
Please, please, please.
I mean, that's a promising amount of damage out from that Masa.
Truth facts.
There is a nuclear in here, so he needs to get a good hit before that comes out.
Yep.
Okay, come on.
There it is.
Hey! GG, Kumo. Way to
That was
stick it
rough.
out, man.
Yeah, oh
was rough.
yeah.
Way to stick it out, Kumo.
Oh yeah.
I
especially
hate
that.
this game.
We were just discussing that, actually, how much I wasn't enjoying this particular seed.
Yeah.
I got in there about 57 minutes. I was like, I'm doing good. And Topher's like, back.
You aren't, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you got
think
the
I
squirt
saw
bottle
all
for
the-
real.
I think I saw all the nuclears, I didn't see nuke, but I saw all the nuclears on Carrie and Tiamat and Chaos.
I think Kraken had one too. But no, it's like, we're entering the blast zone. Please stand 20 feet back at least.
Well, when he hit me with that slow, almost the first time I went through and I died, I was like, well, I need at least one of my casters to be alive to hit, just in case he hits me with the damn slow again. So, I mean, it was aggravating.
Yeah. I feel you there.
I haven't played since the winter tournament, so this was my first time playing since the winter tournament.
Dang.
So I'm a little bit rusty, but even though it was kind of rage-inducing, it was kind of fun, and well, up until Topher.
I mean, that's the thing I
right.
always say, is the most important thing is to have fun.
With the RNG, the Hooray Dwarf had to die several times.
Just a little bit.
I saw at least 4.
He died 4 times.
Yeah, you had the
You might
rage
have-
moment and went there and just like exited to respawn him.
Alright, well, so this is the Duckling question. How many more weeks of Platy Party do we have? And, Saracen, can our 2 interviewees and the lovely chat have a hint of what your next torturous plan is for them?
Well, there's 2 more Platy Party weeks. And everybody should be very familiar with week 6 because that's the winter tournament flags. Literally just the winter tournament.
Alright.
Week 5 is a special little cookout where I decided we're gonna relive just a little bit of Spring Tournament 2021. It's adapted. There's some changes. And it's gonna be really interesting to see how people handle those changes. Just a little thought for you. When Spring Tournament 2021 was occurring, we had introduced Monster in a Box, but not the ability to mark them or to specify what types of loot would be found in them.
That sounds horrible.
It was delightful. People were very happy about that. Can you hear the sarcasm in my voice?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't think I hear enough sarcasm. You're going to need to give me a second take.
This is about as much as I had fun with Topher this time around.
Okay, that's a believable metric.
It absolutely did not cause rage in the winter tournament channel. Not at all.
So, yeah, 2021 was an interesting year. There was a progressive flag set, so it got harder the further in you went. And I did not pick the hardest. I was not going to be that mean to people. And the adaptations do make it a little bit more palatable. And, I'm just going to toss it out there that the flags are known for the Derby. And the entrance shuffle was in the list of flags for the Derby. So if anybody really wanted to try to track down, hey, what might I be looking at here? There are some hints out.
Hey, I like hints. They make me feel nice.
But let me tell you, it's way funnier when you're racing these blind.
It is so much funnier.
But also I understand there's the rage-inducing of, man, there's 500 some flags in this randomizer, and I missed these 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that was so fun.
I missed the life in battle. I would have picked a white mage.
So Kumo, we asked Dark Moon this before you get into the room, but do you have thoughts and ideas for the Ducks about this flag set going into this week's Duckling Weekly?
If the game is making you mad, take a deep breath, step back a bit,
and murder
kill
a couple of
the
dwarves.
Murder the raid dwarf.
Make your memes his nightmares.
No, just keep if something doesn't work. If you keep on bouncing off the wall, step back and reevaluate. That's why I went out and got magic for the thief. Just just in case the mages died, I would have something to buff fighter. So that'll level up a little bit more. But
I was actually asking that question just as a duck, and that like, when do you figure out when you made the attempt? It's like, okay, I need to take a couple of more levels, versus just like, no, I think I'm good, and keep trying. Because we obviously saw that aspect with you, Kumo, where you did eventually leave, and I think you picked up spells. That was the only thing I noticed you do, because I think we were in the middle of a Dark Moon interview at that time.
Because I knew that all I needed was a fast and a temper, or 1 or 2 tempers to get chaos. So I didn't need the levels. I just needed to get one of my party members, other than my fighter, past him. So,
which turned out to be accurate. You did make the right call on that one.
The RNG did not like me in the fiend fight.
Yeah.
RNG is gonna RNG.
RNG do RNG. We pray to RNGesus every day, and every day he doth screw us over.
He screwedeth me over really well today.
But hey, you stuck it through, and that is always something that I personally have a lot of respect for. Is like, even if you're having a bad day, just making sure you see it through, acknowledging it, and then like seeing like, okay, where were the mistakes I made? Where was it just a matter of like where things I can improve? But granted, I'm a duck. I have a lot more of that ladder I need to climb, a Lefinian ladder, if you will. Oh, I have so much.
You practice enough, and then all of a sudden you're not a duck anymore.
It's true.
There was 2 people who flagged the rule this time around. Me and was Avodo, or I can't remember who the other person was with the speed gaming tournament.
I'm trying to remember now, and it's not coming to me. Exclusive club, by the way.
What's up?
Kumo and who else graduated out of Duckhood during SGL Online?
Wasn't it
Was it Odron?
Odron. I don't remember whose name is who. It's either Odron or Ozlodo.
Yeah, one of the 2.
It's Odlado or Oslod. We're just gonna make this worse.
So this is my first time participating in the Platy Party, so I find the blind aspect of the flags interesting. I was not able to read them fast enough before this race started.
Yeah, and I said it a couple of times. The silence in the race room about the flags was actually kind of interesting to me because in Platy parties past, there's always been a little bit of discussion and discovery that happens in the race room, and so not seeing any of that was kind of interesting.
Yep. No, everyone was playing it close to the vest this time. Kind of wish they hadn't.
No hints. We gotta win.
With the entrance shuffle, it kind of went in order almost. It felt really linear. I don't know if anybody else felt that way.
Oh yeah, the very long early trade sequence.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a good time.
Except when you had to ride the seas.
Ride
Yeah.
those
It-
sides.
It led to canoe, and then if you went to ordeals, you got up in the air, and then you never had to think about it again, which was the best.
And
Yep.
the hilarious ice and volcano double terminal.
I know, right? Like, well, I don't have to ever go there again.
All right. Well, I think we can wrap this up here. I think 'cause we are
Rolled the
rolling
seed.
on. It was me.
Hashtag
That's
I
right.
blame Saracen.
Yeah, it's Saracen's fault. I am entirely innocent. I'm just an innocent restreamer who had nothing to do with anything.
I will say that when I roll seeds, people have words for me after, and it's pretty consistent.
You're number one. You're number one.
Not usually those words.
No. I'm appreciative of your restraint, both of you.
Oh,
But
that's
I
it.
think we can wander on in the direction of final thoughts. We'll start with Dark Moon.
I mean, I think if I'd read the flags, I don't know, I probably still would have been just as bad. I don't know. The problem with loose and incentive dungeons, even when it's early, is you have to gamble. And I have found that my luck says that when I gamble wrong. So, honestly, for what they were, the flags were fine. They were fun, aside from those Sahags. So, no, I mean,
What about the sleep spiders?
I didn't see that. I didn't see the nuke mucks that someone else saw. I didn't see any of that. I just saw the Sahags, and that was gross enough.
Yeah, I'm for team those Sahags were gross.
Those were gross. No, it was. That's my final thought right there.
All right, Kumo, your final thoughts.
Screw Topher. Anyway, no. I hope the ducklings are enjoying the flags and the time that Saracen puts in to make these flags for you guys. Keep on trucking on, learning, and we'll see you guys once you finish the duckling derby.
So, question in chat about who's worse at rolling seeds, me or Danny. Danny has
Depends.
the advantage of
Correct.
volume.
It's
She
the-
rolls a lot. It's kind of a special occasion when I do. And I would say that on average, I present more horrible things per capita, if you will.
Do you want quantity bad or quality bad? That's your pick.
I historically have rolled some doozies. But, you just don't get a lot of seeds out of me, so it's fine. It's fine.
I don't know. You're the Duck Don. Don't you roll every weekly duckling seed?
Yes, but when I roll the weeklies, I get rid of all of the terrible ones.
He does try to make them nice. So if they're not nice, that just shows you the joy of Final Fantasy Randomizer.
So,
It's true.
all right. So then,
And you
behind
then
the
find
scenes,
out-
how many seeds get thrown away every week?
It's not every week that I throw away seeds. This week, it was literally the first seed that I vetted will be the weekly.
Hmm.
But I remember a week where I had 6 or 7 seeds that I threw away at the 15-minute mark. That one was pretty rough. It took me a couple of days to get through the vetting because I was tilted. That was bad. Maddie.
Yes.
Restreamer, tracker, co-coms extraordinaire. Final thoughts.
My final thoughts are Oh wait, no, we're on the waiting screen. I can't give everyone my little applause thing. I like working. It's been a pleasure just, working with Final Fantasy Randomizer for as long as I had. Being a Duckling now has been a treat of sorts, learning the game, finally. Like, I teased a bit because a lot of my fans really wanted me to join, and now that I'm getting deeper into it, I'm starting to understand things. Obviously, I've taken a lot more leadership roles between, becoming an arbiter and AP lead and a million other things. I'm now in marathon planning. I'm super excited for we've got the summer marathon coming up. Like, the aspects of Final Fantasy Randomizer that are starting to enter my daily life are increasing by the day, and that is in no small part to all the stuff we do here and things like that. Now, does that mean I want to be doing it every day? No, it's a lot of work to be on this side of the work table. But I honestly encourage anyone who comes along, obviously try to take part in, the Duck stuff if you want to learn to play the game. We do have a lot of other stuff that you should take part in. We are a great community otherwise, and it's been lovely being here. It's been lovely, again, getting to take part in this, being invited to be the restreamer for the Platy party, because I'm available, and it obviously lets me have that first hands-on experience with learning. And that's something that, everyone can have too. Because even, after, I shut down the stream here, we'll end up still having a bit of extra conversation just between ourselves where there's that opportunity to ask more questions. So assisting in the background is another good way for learning your way through things in this game, and I would highly recommend it amongst everything. I can't be thankful enough for the opportunities I've been given with the community, and to try to give those same opportunities to others as well.
Rock on. Well, a little rundown of what we got coming up. So tomorrow, we'll have the weekly posted. We'll have a community race in the evening. So 9 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night, we will have that community race on these flags. Check it out. Come join. Have a good time. Because they are a good time. Tuesday night, we've got the OJ Power Hour. Yes, it's next week that they're off. I remember this, I swear.
They might be off. It depends on whether or not Ozlodo does a round table or some other thing instead of standard whatever.
Okay.
No, it's not around for that.
Well, we'll know when. Okay, Ozlodo says there are plans.
Perfect.
I believe. All right, so Tuesday night, 9 p.m. right here, we're going to have the OJ Power Hour, which is kind of a new podcasty sort of thing, which I think was fantastic. I was on it recently with Luffy, and it was a good time. This week is Shumbabi. Ooh, yeah. That's right, going from the Ducks to the Challenge Seeds. That's a big jump there. Wednesday, we'll have our reveal for the next flag set, and that, our Class 204, we'll have guest runner Rubes 000. That's going to be a good time. Rubes puts on a show anytime he races, so looking forward to that. Thursday night, another community race, 9 p.m. Eastern. Friday, VOD reviews maybe. I don't know who is running it this week, but...
it is Jay Scheidel and Luffy.
Oh, heck yeah. So VOD reviews this Friday. And then, Saturday is off as a treat. And then next Sunday, we'll be back for week 2 of the Platy Party. And, those Spring Tournament 2021 Redux flags. It's going to be a good time as well. So lots of FFR coming up. Hope you had a good time hanging out with us tonight for Duckling Bootcamp 104. I'm Saracen. Again, Maddie, our restreamer, co-coms, tracker, everything else, because, I just sit here and talk mostly. And our runners, Kumo and Dark Moon. And with that, thank you all, everybody, and have a wonderful night.